Welcome to the first episode of Napoleonic Stacking Ancient Series Coins. Several videos back, I had spoken about a trade that I had made where I had sold off a little over an ounce of gold in order to pick up some very specific items. Well, those items are here and I'm now ready to share them with you in a new series of ancient coin videos, starting with the Roman Imperial Denarius. So this is a silver denarius that was struck during the reign of Severus Alexander. And Severus was basically crowned emperor when he was 14 years old. He took the throne after his predecessor, of course, was assassinated. And this particular coin has a very high relief of Severus on it. And you can really see a lot of the details in the coin. This is graded by NGC as an AU. And NGC is one of the very few coin companies that actually grades ancient coins. And on the obverse here, it actually reads, the Emperor Severus Alexander Augustus. And taking a look at the reverse, we can see this is a depiction of Zeus holding a lightning bolt. And it reads, Pontifex Maximus, Tribune of the Roman people, Year 2, Consul, Father of his country. It's basically what all that translates to. Pretty cool stuff. And one of the great things about these Roman coins with the emperor's face on it is at the time the empire was very vast in the 3rd century BC. And anytime there was a new emperor, their face would be struck on the coinage. And they would be distributed far and wide throughout the empire and abroad. So all of the emperor's subjects and all foreign leaders would be able to see and know what the Roman leader looked like. And Rome went through emperors so quickly sometimes, it was important for them to be able to strike out new coins so that you could see what the new emperor's name was and also what they looked like. So a little history on the denarius. The silver denarius was introduced in 211 BC during the Second Punic Wars. The word denarius is derived from the Latin word denai, which means containing 10, as its value was originally of 10 asses, which are basically the Roman copper pieces. The Roman denarius quickly became one of the most widely used coins in the Roman Republic, and later throughout the empire. The denarius originally contained 4.5 grams of silver, around 95 to 98% purity. And the denarius began being debased towards the end of the Republican period with Augustus, and continued its debasement all the way down to where it had less than 5% silver by the end of the 3rd century AD. This was done in large part to pay for the ever-expanding empire and its wars, and allow Rome to continue spending even in the face of reduced silver supply and mining and rising costs of maintaining the territorial integrity of the empire. Throughout most of Roman history, a Roman denarius basically broke down to 1 day's labor for a common worker. And as far as its silver content, it's not much larger than our traditional silver dimes from 1964. Severus Alexander was the last of the Severian dynasty, and this particular coin was struck in 223 AD, the second year of his reign. He was actually only 15 years old in this portrait. Some of Alexander's domestic accomplishments during his rule were he expanded senatorial powers, he reined in excessive luxuries and extravagances at the imperial court, and reinstated the baths of Nero. He raised the silver purity in the denarius from 43% back to 50.5%, which of course we know is still a far cry from where it was, but still much better, and allowed for money to be lent at lower, moderate interest rates. Alexander's military accomplishments were a little bit of a different story. So Alexander did much to aid the rights of his soldiers, protecting their rights and property while on campaign. For those reasons, his soldiers initially really liked him. In 231, Rome was invaded by the newly formed Sassanid Empire, and Alexander was forced to war. Initially, Rome suffered several humiliating defeats. In 233, Alexander, based in Antioch, reorganized his forces into a threefold invasion force, and moved into the Sassanid Empire. At the head of his main body, he himself advanced, recapturing northern Mesopotamia. Rome suffered great losses during the campaign due to a series of blunders, but Rome nevertheless was victorious, and in 233 Alexander returned to Rome for his triumph. Just 1 year later, in 234, Germanic tribes crossed the Rhine and Danube in hordes. Many soldiers' homes were destroyed during the initial invasion, demoralizing the Roman army. As you know, a lot of territory that was given to Roman soldiers was on the frontier, and that was the territory that these barbarians were raiding. And these soldiers, of course, were still recovering from the costly war against the Persians. The Romans prepared heavily for their counterstrike. Alexander left for the front. Alexander still knew very little about being a general, and was wary about suffering another round of catastrophic losses against the barbarians. Alexander enforced a strict military discipline in his men that ended up sparking a rebellion among his legions. On the advice of his mother, Alexander attempted to buy the German tribes off so as to gain time to reinforce his lines. Alexander's legionaries, upon finding out about this, looked down upon him at the decision and considered him dishonorable. Alexander's soldiers conspired to replace him with one of their own and assassinated him along with his mother in March of 235. Severus Alexander's death was the beginning of Rome's troubled times, the crisis of the 3rd century, where Rome nearly collapsed due to civil war and economic instability. Every coin serves its place in time. Every coin has its own rich history. Is this denarius one that was paid to the barbarians so that Severus didn't have to fight the Germanic tribes? It's possible. In this series, I hope to bring ancient history alive through precious metals. And I sincerely hope that you enjoyed this first episode. If you did, please give me a like, share with your friends, and subscribe. And there certainly will be more ancient videos to come. But until next time, Napoleonic Stacker, signing out.